Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is your brother Kwamwala out of HOI Atlanta, soon to be HOI North Carolina, Yahweh willing. Just want to say, call halal Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. That's all praises to the Most High God Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I just want to come with a quick lesson it's not very deep to where, I got like a million precepts. It's going to take hours. But it's simple, but it's a concept that's very heavy. And us in Israel need to take it very seriously, very seriously. I wanted to deal with the issue of divorce, dealing with marriages. Now, coming into faith, we learn that sex is marriage. If you're new to the faith and need more edification on that, just look out for a lesson from HOI dealing with sex is marriage. But us coming into faith that already knows sex is marriage, we come to the issue of divorce. A lot of us still don't choose our partners wisely. We don't prove our partners, and after we already been married or consummated our marriage, then we find out that they're not the person for us, and we won out. I've had many counsels with brothers and sisters on this topic, and a lot of the time it's the same answer. If you're with someone that you really don't want to be with, Salakia, you're stuck with each other. You're with someone who just don't want to listen to you or obey you, Salakia, you're still stuck with them. And I'm going to go in the scriptures through the power of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai, just to prove this and make sure that y'all completely understand this. And I pray that it helps you, and if not, reach out to the nearest brother you can if you need further counseling on the matter. But I'm going to start in the book, of Matthew, chapter 5, start at verse 31. These are the words of our Lord and Savior, our King Yahweh Shai. Red letter, Matthew 5 and 31. It says, "It hath been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement." So yes, before times in the law, Moses did put in there that we could give our wife a bill of divorcement. And Yahweh Shai is not doing away with that. You can still get divorced, but he upped the ante. We can't get a divorce for any reason. Verse 32, "But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication." Fornication is a wicked sex act, like bestiality, homosexuality, adultery. All of that is a wicked sex act. Causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. So, if you put your wife away for any other reason except for fornication, which is a wicked sex act, you cause her to commit adultery. And you cause the person who marries her to commit adultery as well. Let's see some other spots Yahweh Shai emphasized on this. Let's go to Luke. Yeah, I'm tripping. All right, yeah, Luke 18 and Luke 16. So like 16 and 18. And it says, Yahweh Shai again, red letter. "Whosoever putteth away his wife and marrieth another committeth adultery." Now, why is he saying that the person that puts her away commits adultery? Why? Because you can't put your wife away for nothing but fornication. So, if you have a wife and you don't want to be with her, you still can't put her away, especially if she hasn't committed fornication. So, you can get another wife, the man can, but you can't put that first wife away. And then on top of that, you're sinning and you're causing, let me read it. committeth adultery. And whosoever marrieth her, that is put away from her husband, committeth adultery. You cause the next man that sleeps with that woman to commit adultery as well, because technically that's still your wife. Yahweh Shai just said you can't put your wife away unless it's for fornication. But I've had brothers and sisters go to the law, which is the first 5 books of Moses, and try to find ways to weasel out of it. And they go to verses like Deuteronomy 24. I'm going to start from the top, where it says, when a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. They go to stuff like this and say, well, does that mean this law is done away with? Technically not. But you'll have to apply the new heightened standards on it. What Yahweh Shai said, you can't put your wife away unless for fornication. So let's apply that and see how it works. It says, when a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her. Now the uncleanness can only be fornication, which is a wicked sex act. We can say the most popular, which would be adultery, or you can say she's committed homosexuality, that's unlawful, or bestiality, sleeping with animals. That is the only way he can write her a bill of divorcement. But let's say she commits fornication, and he writes her a bill of divorcement, and he sends her out of his house. And let's say she marries another man, and it says, and if verse 3, I'm gonna drop down to verse 3. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die. Now that's key as well. That's very important in our culture dealing with marriage. In this case, the only thing he can hate of her or write her a bill of divorcement for is a fornication. So that means she committed fornication on the first husband, got another husband, committed fornication on him, and he put her away. Or if he dies, because in our Hebraic culture, the only way a woman can get out of a marriage is if her husband dies. Now, her husband, if he commits fornication, he can repent from it, but that's still not grounds for her to divorce him. Yahweh Shai didn't say if a woman put away her husband, saving for the cause of fornication, because it's not our custom for women to put their husband away. So, Salakia women, if you're in a bad relationship, or your husband, you just don't like him, you can't put him away. But it also says that, I'm going to drop down to verse 4, it says, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. So, if she commits fornication on the first husband, she repents, gets another husband, she commits fornication on that husband, gets put away, she repents from the fornication, you still can't take her back. The first husband still cannot take her back. And at this point, actually, after the first husband, it should be out that she's a fornicator, or she's a adulteress, or she's in a homosexuality, or in the bestiality. By the end, the word should get out that she should be marked. So there shouldn't be no latter husband. She should remain unmarried, honestly. But this is how important that is. The priest was given specific laws. Let's go to that. Leviticus 21. Oh, pushed the wrong one. Leviticus 21. 6. No, it's 7. All right, and just to prove this is talking about specifically to the priest, I'm going to start at 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto the priest, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people. Just letting you know that this is talking to the priest. Drop down to verse 7. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane. Neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his God. So our priests, if you were a woman and you were put away for any reason, they couldn't even take you to be a wife. That's how serious it was. That's exactly how serious it was. But let's go to Paul, because there are a lot of Paul like. Hold on, Salakia. Dealing with the Deuteronomy 24 and what Moses put in the law for us. Of course, we know Yahweh already spoke on that, and he actually told you why that was put in there. I'll show that. Let's go to Mark 10. We'll start from the top. And it says, and he arose from thence, talking about Yahushua, and cometh into the coasts of Judea by the farther side of Jordan. And the people resort unto him again. And as he was wont, he taught them again. So Yahushua, he docks on the coast of Judea, and the people came to get taught by him again. And also with them, and the Pharisees came to him and asked him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife? Tempting him. And he answered and said unto them, Yahushua said, what did Moses command you? And they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, for the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept. A precept is a law, if you don't understand. Yahushua said that for the hardness of our heart, because Moses knew what type of people we are. He knew that we would just want to put our wife away for some reason. So he gave us kind of like a scapegoat. But Yahushua came and he upped the ante, saying it's not that easy to put that woman away. It's not that easy to get out of that relationship that you've been in. Now, if you want to take the words of Moses over Yahushua, well, then you would be breaking Deuteronomy 18 and 19, where the Most High himself said, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. Now, us in the truth, we know this is talking about Yahushua. For you OT onlys who don't believe that, that's fine. We got a slew of precepts that can show you Yahushua throughout the whole Old Testament. But verse 19, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. So if you want to resort back to in the law where Moses put, we can divorce our women over the heart, because of the hardness of our heart over Yahushua, you would be disobeying the Most High, because the Most High said Yahushua is only going to speak the words that he shall command him. So just keep that in mind. And I want to deal with the Paulites. Now, I understand Paul did mention stuff about divorce, and I'm going to deal with it. Let's deal with it. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. I'm going to start at 8. Start at 8. Actually, I'm going to start at 6. Just to make some things clear, because some people believe that everything Paul wrote in his epistles is law, which is not true. Paul makes it clear what he speaks by himself and what he speaks ordained by the Most High. Starting with verse 6, it says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. So he was authorized to be able to say this advice. Verse 8, I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. So he's saying that if you're unmarried now, or you've been put away, so now you're unmarried, or your husband dies and you're a widow, it is good that for them if they abide even as I, which Paul didn't have a wife. But it's good that they would abide like that and just serve the Lord. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. He's speaking of your lust. So if they can maintain, it's good that they just devote themselves to the church and to the Most High. But if they can't and they're burning in their lust, to keep them from making a mistake of just sleeping with anybody, becoming a whore, let them marry. But he also goes on to say, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. So now he's letting you know he's not speaking this by permission. He's saying the Lord commands this. Let not the wife depart from her husband. I'm going to read that again. Let not the wife depart from her husband. Like I said, the wife cannot put her husband away. I've heard that. That's off. A wife cannot put her husband away. Verse 11. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried. So if a wife runs out on her husband, because she can't divorce her husband, but if she runs off on her husband, it says let her remain unmarried. And that's rightfully so, because if she sleeps with another man, she'll be committing adultery, and she'll cause that man to commit adultery. So let her remain unmarried. Or be reconciled to her husband, and be reconciled unto her husband. So she can depart, take some time apart, get herself together, and come back to that husband and make things work. But they're not divorced. So you can take a break to get yourselves together, to work on each other, but there is no divorce. But it also says, let not the husband put away his wife. So the husband still can't put away. If your wife runs off on you for a week or two, you can't put her away. If she comes back, y'all must reconcile, especially if she has not married another or slept with someone else or committed fornication. Y'all can reconcile, which means to bring back together, come back together, and work on y'all relationship. But that's still not a reason for a husband to put away his wife. And this is Paul saying that. And going back to what Yahushua said, saving for fornication, I've heard brothers talking about putting away women. Talking about, if she don't want to go the way you want her to go, put her away. No. If she don't want to submit and listen to you, put her away. No. You can't put her away for that. If she got a manly spirit and cusses you out, you still can't put your wife away for that. Now, y'all can separate, work on each other, get counseling, all kind of things. But you cannot separate except for fornication. Reading on, verse 12. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. So now what we're finna read is just advice from Paul. He lets you know. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him. So, if you're with a man is with a woman that's not in the truth, but she's still okay to dwell with that man, to live with him. She's like, okay, I see you following this new religion, because that's what they always say. You found this new religion, but it's cool. I'm still going to stay with you. What does it say? And she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. Because you're with a woman that doesn't believe, doesn't mean you can put her away. You cannot. Verse 13. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not. Likewise with the woman, if you have a husband and he's not in the truth, guess what? And if he be pleased to dwell with you, and he's still okay to deal with you being an Israelite, let her not leave. That means you can't put him away either, which is the same, because women can't put a man away, but you can't leave that man. You're still bound to him. But for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Elsewhere, your children unclean, but now are they holy. And 15. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. So, if the unbelieving spouse leaves you, I can't deal with this Israelite mess no more. I want my Christmas and Thanksgiving back. If they leave you, let them go. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases. Why they're not under bondage? Because you can't superimpose them to keep cultural mandates that they don't agree with, or they don't accept, they don't subscribe to. So I can't hold them to the standard of sex is marriage if they don't believe sex is marriage. I can't hold them to the standard of that we're married and we can't divorce unless the wife or the wife commits fornication. I can't hold them to this standard because they're probably, in the world and believe, oh, well, we ain't married because we ain't got no piece of paper. And even if we had a piece of paper, if I want to, I can divorce you anyway. They're still brainwashed and under Esau society and rules. So they wouldn't be bound to you. But you that know the truth, you're bound to them. But if they depart, let them depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases. So, besides what Yahushua said with committing fornication, this is the only other way you can just get out of a marriage. With the woman, you still can't leave the man. The man has to leave you. And with the man, the woman has to commit fornication, or if she's unbelieving, meaning she's not in the truth, and she leaves you, then you can let her go. But other than that, you guys will be bound together for life, or until the husband dies, or unless someone commits fornication. But that's all I got tonight. I hope I wasn't too long, and I hope I was very clear. I just wanted to, I felt like this lesson was so heavy that it needs to be drilled in our people's head. As Yahushua said, this is an adulterous generation. We want to stop that. Let's keep black and brown couples together. With that, I say Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah, Barakatah, Shalom.